Hey, my name is Rachel from Aussie Online Growing on Shopify. Are you in the early days of a small online business in Australia? Maybe you're a few months in, a few weeks in, a few years in, or you maybe haven't even started yet. Maybe you've been doing this a long time and you just enjoy listening to other online store business owners chat about their experiences and their ups and downs in real time like I do. Then you are welcome to listen in. I invite you to subscribe and follow along. I love to share real-time challenges of growing a small online business in Australia, the ups and the downs, all from my kitchen table in Adelaide. So if you like listening to diary style podcasts like I do, I certainly get my motivation for online business from other podcasts that I subscribe to and I listen to for hours every day. You're in the right place, and I hope my encouragement to you helps you feel motivated and supported in your own online business journey. You can find me for some one-on-one support at aussieonlinegrowingonshopify.com.au. And you can also find there a workbook I have just created so recently and launched called the Giveaway Lead Generation Strategy. It actually saw me get a 10% conversion rate through 2023 over the whole year with my giveaway lead gen strategy, and I've put it into a workbook. It's over 30 pages and it's available for you to grab as a DIY solution with screenshots and step-by-step strategy, or you can reach out for me for strategy support, and you could find all the details there at Aussie Online Growing on Shopify. If you need more sales, that's where I suggest you head and just listen into my podcast. That was a little intro. I tried to read kind of half reading and not looking at my notes and looking at the camera because this is a video podcast. This is my second video podcast. I have been doing audio podcasts for a year and a half now, and I've tried video now. So I'm getting into video, and it's my second ever episode on video. So I'm still very new at it. I appreciate your patience with me and listening in and sharing my podcast with other entrepreneurs or friends or family you have who may be interested in e-commerce and online business here in Australia. This is episode number 74. This is a bit of an episode as a wrap up or a bit of a check-in. I want to share with you how my Boxing Day sales went. And it makes me think about whether you had Boxing Day sales and how they went for you. Did you do a sale over Boxing Day and New Year's? And if you did, how did you go? Did you do a bit of a breakdown after to look at the stats and compare them to the year before and see if there's some things you want to do next time to improve, or if you're very happy overall with how things performed? I thought if I do an episode about that for myself and share with you how my Boxing Day sales went, it might encourage you to go back and check for yourself too to see what stats you had, or maybe even to consider a sale for this Boxing Day when it comes around to Christmas time if you haven't done one before. This episode is applicable for any type of sale throughout the year. This is going to be about Boxing Day for me, or the stats are, but the strategy behind having a sale or why to have sales is true across the year. And there's one fundamental reason why I believe sales are good to do. And I didn't used to think this probably 2 years ago, but my thinking has changed based off a couple of things. My thinking now around sales has changed because I've run a few sales and seen how massively successful they were, and it hasn't impacted at all on customers buying things full price at other times, which is what I was worried about. I think a lot of businesses are probably worried about if they have a sale, does that mean they're training their customers to only expect sales and then they won't pay full price? And I don't think that has to be true at all. For me, it's definitely not been true. So my thinking around sales has definitely changed. I embrace the concept of a sale now to suit me and suit my customers, and I'll explain what that means in a minute for me. The other reason why is because of my lead generation strategy. I firmly believe in a giveaway lead generation strategy, and you could arguably point out that a giveaway is very similar to a sale in the sense of the mentality of it. You know, like I'm only attracting cheap customers with a sale, or I'm only attracting cheap customers with a giveaway. And I just don't believe that's true. When there's a strategy behind it and you've got it set up correctly and you're analyzing your results to see that what leads you're collecting are not junk. And throughout 2023, across the whole year, all the leads I collected, all those leads, cumulative, combined, those leads combined across the year, got me a 10% conversion rate on that group of leads. So that group of leads I collected through the whole of last year converted at 10%, as in sales, not just converted like the pop-up on my website converted, but 10% of my leads throughout all of last year equaled a sale. And one sale, more, actually it was something like 7% converted for 2 or more sales. And then something like 4% conversion rate for more than 2 sales across the year. So there is absolutely ways of doing giveaways and sales. That does not mean you are collecting junk leads or training your customers to only shop when there is a sale. That is why my thinking has changed around sales and the concept of sales, and why I love them now. And I am very strategic about when I do sales and why. And the other reason why I think sales are really important is if you do it in a way that's very, what's the word? It's got real strict guidelines just for your business. It's got to suit your business and it's got to suit what you want to do. Then I think it can work for your business. It doesn't have to feel like you are giving away all your profit margins. And one example of that is last year, I need to do it again, I've got it on my calendar this year, is I did a sale of one product that was 70% off for 48 hours. Only one product, 70% off just for 48 hours. To basically just encourage some people to my website from email. So to improve my click rate and my link, my open rate and my click rate on my emails. So I did a few emails over 2 days and encouraged people to come and shop this one product that was 70% off across these 48 hours. And do you know what happened in that 48 hours? I got a few sales, which was great, but no one bought the 70% off product. People shopped other stuff, which proves to me that if you have a sale set up to suit your business, and if it's strategic time through the years, and you do it because it's good for your business, people just need the reason to shop. They may have already been thinking about shopping your brand, your website, and if you put something in front of them, an opportunity, i.e. a sale, then it's actually just a good timely reminder for them and the opportune time for them in their life to go and shop your brand. Because people didn't even buy the product that was 70% off during my sale. They bought other things that were obviously on their wish list. Sorry if you're on audio, I'm making a bit of racket with my drinking my water there in my store. So sales can totally be good for your business. It doesn't have to compromise your margins. It doesn't have to compromise your brand. And it can be really beneficial and a great service to your customers, and just give them a reason to come back to your website, because the more times people come to your website and browse around your website, the more likely they are to shop, especially if they visit your website in a shorter period of time. And, if they haven't heard from you in 6 months on email, it might be tricky to get them to come to your website. But if they're hearing from you every week or every couple of weeks and you send regular emails, then when you do a sale or an impromptu sale or a strategy, specific sale, and you lean into that time of the year like Boxing Day, they're absolutely going to take that opportunity to come and shop from you. So my Boxing Day sale went really well. I was stoked with how well my Boxing Day sale went. I didn't really do much of a Boxing sale the year before because I was still working my 9-to-5 job, and I was just looking to do nothing because Christmas, the lead up to Christmas with gift, buying and shipping orders have been really busy. So I didn't do much of a Boxing Day sale. It was very small and it was okay, but it wasn't great. This year was really good. And I'll share with you my stats, how that went shortly. Let me get back to my notes though, because now I don't know where I'm going off on a complete different tangent. Oh, yes. So the reason I wanted to do a Boxing Day sale in 2023 was very specific. Like I said, it's got to be specific for your business or a strategy for your business. The reason I wanted to do one is to clear some inventory off my shelves. I really wanted an injection of cash to buy a stack of new inventory for the start of this year, which I have done. I've spent a fortune and I've got a heap of new stock that's been arriving all through January that I've purchased. And I wanted to get rid of a lot of stock and put a lot of things on clearance and discontinued and actually wipe them from my my product range. And I only have a small product range anyway, like less than 50 products on my product range. So you could say, wow, that's really not a great idea to do a sale if you only have 50 products. However, there are some products that are literally just dragging me down. I'm spending money on them by having them here. They're sitting on my shelf converting at a very small rate. So the revenue on them is tiny. And they're taking up valuable space on my shelf and in my brain. And clearly my customers don't love them enough to be shopping them often. They just need to go. Like, you're better off having a much smaller product range that turns over faster than having products that sit on your shelf for months at a time that nobody buys. That doesn't make any sense at all. And it's literally money that is sitting there on your shelf tied up that you could be cashing it out, cutting your losses and taking that small cash back and then doing something else with it. So I only put items on clearance for Boxing Day. It wasn't a site-wide sale. It was just items I didn't want anymore hanging around. And I really wanted to clear them out of my range for good. And guess how I came up with this list of items to put on clearance? There is a very cool report in Shopify, and it is called, let me find it on my notes here. I have paper notes because I can't be looking at my screen and looking at the screen while I'm talking to you at the same time and reading notes. I have paper notes. There's a special report in Shopify, and it's called the ABC Product Analysis. It's amazing. You find it under Shopify Analytics, Reports, ABC Analysis by product rates based on revenue over 28 days. So I looked at the last 28 days, and it gives you a rating of all your products, and it gives you a rating of A, B, or C based on how often they sell through and how often they turn over. How handy is that? Particularly if you have a big product range, you don't have to click into every product or to pull out another report and sift it, to see what products turn over, how often, the sell-through rate and inventory, blah, blah, blah. Just let Shopify give you an ABC product analysis report, and then you can go look at all your C products and click into each of them to look at the little specific analysis for each. So do you know when you open a product in Shopify, if you look over to the right-hand side, there's this cool little dialog box that gives you the insight into the sales over the last 90 days of that product. So I looked at all my C products from this report, and I went into each of the products and opened them to look at the little analysis on the right-hand side that told me how many I have sold in 90 days of my C-rated products. One of them, as an example, I'd only sold 3 units to one customer. So one customer had bought 3 units, the 3 units that had sold in 90 days, one customer had bought all 3. That is clearly a product I do not need to be carrying any longer. And so I had about 20 of those sitting on my shelf in inventory. I just wanted them discounted and cleared out and gotten rid of. So that product immediately made it to my Boxing Day discontinued clearance sale list. So this clearance list or this Boxing Day sale, if the reason you are doing a sale for any time of the year is to just claw back some cash from inventory that is stuck. This could be inventory that either is on your shelf that's not selling very well. It could also be, what else could it be? It could be inventory that's maybe damaged, factory seconds. It could be sample stock. It could even be stock you just never got around to putting on your website and you just decided you don't want to anymore. You could totally sell that as well and put that on clearance. And the goal here is not to make a huge profit. So it doesn't actually need to be selling for a high price. The goal of this sale for me was to clear the inventory. So I actually wanted to clear it at cost. I basically looked at my profit margin for each of the products I was putting on on clearance, and decided what margin I wanted to keep to make sure I kept at least how much I paid for the stock. And across the board, I basically worked out I could put all these clearance items on sale for 75% off, which is a massive discount, and it would still preserve the amount I paid for them up front. I wouldn't be making any money from them. I'd make a bit from a few, but across the board, I wasn't making any money from them. But I was getting back what I'd paid for this inventory. So 75% off is a massive incentive for customers to shop. That is a really, really hefty discount. I knew my customers would be really wrapped with that discount. So that's what I decided to do. 75% off on just this select group of products that I was putting on clearance that I actually didn't want to have in my range anymore. And my customers knew that. This wasn't just a Boxing Day sale. It was a clearance. It was a discontinued items. So once they were gone, they were gone. These products aren't coming back. Once I sold them or the end of the sale ended, which was the 31st of December, they were gone. So it was just the window Boxing Day to the 31st of December. They were marked down. So remember, this was not to make a profit, this sale. This was to clear inventory and to get back some cash for me so I could buy some more products. So that's just a reminder what report is if you're interested in checking it out on Shopify for yourself. It's under analytics, reports, and it's called ABC analysis. It will give you a rating between A, B, or C of your product range on the last 28 days. And then you can go and check all your C rated products and open each individual product and look and see what sort of sell-through rate or what revenue each of them brought in for you in the last 90 days when you open the product, and look at the little analysis based on that product and see if there's some products that you too want to get rid of, stop having around, and just clear out of your inventory and claw back some cash, hey, rather than it sitting on your shelf there. So that's what I decided to do for Boxing Day. And like I said, I only have 50 products in my range anyway. So this was a pretty bold move to cull my inventory, because I how many products did I put on clearance? I didn't even check. I think at least a dozen products out of my range were on clearance and discontinued. It's a pretty high percentage of my whole product range, but it's enabled me to pummel all that money back into new stock that I can now excite my customers with throughout February and March. I've got some new stock here now all ready to launch in the next couple of months to get my customers excited about my product range. So let me show you what the stats were for me for Boxing Day 2023 for the small window between the 26th of December and the 31st of December 2023. My total sales were $1,980, which I was really, really wrapped with, because that was actually an increase on the year before Boxing Day sale of 2,400%. So whenever you look at any stat in your Shopify dashboard, always go back and have a look at another comparison period. If you've been in business and your online business is less than a year old, maybe have a look at the previous 3 months or the previous month. Be careful with what you compare, of course, because you don't want to compare your Black Friday sales to October or something like that, because you're probably going to be really, well, it might actually look really good. What am I saying? You probably don't want to compare your January sales to December sales, because that could be a bit depressing. If you had a big December and then January's often really quiet, it certainly is quieter for me. That's pretty average across e-commerce in general across Australia. So don't go comparing your January sales to your December sales, because that will be really sad. But have a look at a time period that makes sense. And so I had a look at Boxing Day 2023 and compared it to Boxing Day 2022. And the increase in my revenue was 2,400% for that period. So I was really thrilled, and I felt it. I felt very busy through Boxing Day up till New Year's, and then a few days into the new year when I was packing orders, and then subscription boxes I was packing early January. So I felt very busy from Boxing Day till about the 10th of January. And then after the 10th of January, I took a bit of time and had about a week and a half of doing not a lot. So I felt busy, and it felt really good to get rid of all this stuff on my shelf that was just sitting there collecting dust and doing nothing for my brand and nothing for my business. I want to do other things with that cash. So that felt really good. My conversion rate for that Boxing Day period was 4.8%. And my average order value was $54. So it was up 80% on the year before. So even my average order rate was up by 80% because everybody was shopping lots of stuff. If you're going to get 70% off and you know these items are like on clearance and are never coming back, it's a really good reason for customers to snag some stuff cheap, or some things they love that they know they're not going to be able to have the opportunity to get again from you. So they better get it while it's there. So it's a reason to buy. So you've got to balance this out for yourself and decide how many sales suit you and your brand and what you want to do through the year. Do you want to do 1 sale, 3 sales, 0 sales, 10 sales? What type of sales? Like I said, you don't need to put your whole website on sale. You could choose one item and discount it really heavily and just encourage customers via a series of emails to shop it over a 48-hour period just to get people back to your website, because you may find, like I have, that they shop other stuff and spend money on full price items even though you've invited them to a sale. Do you want to do an end of financial year sale, a Black Friday sale? Do you want to do a mystery box or a grab bag sale? I'm going to do grab bags in March. So a collection of mystery products, which is some stock I have left, some samples, some other items that just aren't moving really quickly that will be at a discounted price. And customers just don't know what they're getting. It's a mystery bag, but it will help me, again, move inventory and to get back some of that cash that I can put into other products and other things in my business. So it's timing. It's good timing for customers. It's going to be good timing for your business, and it just gives customers a reason to buy. Having a sale of any description, a discount of any description, you could do a gift with purchase, a buy one, get one free, all those sorts of little small type sales that don't have to be site wide across your whole range. You don't have to compromise your margins in any way or your profitability. You're just looking for a revenue bump. You're just giving your customers a reason to come back to your website again, because the more often they come back to your website, the more often they're likely to buy something. So I suggest doing a sale. Like, what sale do you plan to do next, or what have you done recently and how well did it go for you? Did you do a Boxing Day sale? What were your stats? What did you think went well about it? Or is there anything you would change for next time about your Boxing Day sale? Do you have a sale planned upcoming for a particular reason, and why? What season's coming up, or what reason have you got to do a sale coming up? Have you got one in your calendar? All of these things are worth thinking about. They need to, like I said, that if it's timely for your customers, so it's convenient for them, it's an incentive for them to shop if they're already thinking about it. It may just push them over the line to grab something when they've been thinking about you anyway. And is it a way, obviously, to benefit your business? Do you need a bump in sales? Do you need a quick revenue injection? Do you need to clear some stock on your shelves? Do you have some stock you bought that you never put on your website that you half regret buying? Could you bundle that with a gift with purchase and make that purchase that you never put on your website the gift that comes when they buy something else? There's ways to make sure that this works for your business. You're not just chucking money down the toilet. You're not compromising your margins. You're just giving customers a reason to come back, and you're getting a cash injection for your online business, perhaps to claw back some money that's tied up in stock that's not moving very quickly, or stock that you got that you wish you never got, stock that's half damaged that you want to do a seconds or factory seconds on, or none of those reasons. And you could just put a random product on your website, really heavily discounted, do a couple of emails to your customers in your email list, your audience, your social media about it. And you might be surprised to find that customers come and shop other things full price and not just the one item that's heavily discounted. So I suggest go and giving it a try. Give a sale a try if you haven't done one recently. If you haven't got one planned out, put one in your diary or in your calendar to get organised. And let me know what you're doing. I'd love to know what sale you've got planned, or if you did a Boxing Day sale, how it went for you. So I hope you found this episode helpful. You can find me at Aussie Online Growing on Shopify. You can find me there for some one-on-one strategy support. I can help you when I'm not in the day-to-day weeds of your business. You can reach out to me there for a free discovery call. And you can also find there my new workbook, my giveaway lead generation strategy workbook. Is over 30 pages of actionable step-by-step strategy to get a 10% conversion rate on your lead generation. If you have a lead generation strategy for this year, if you don't, you should totally get one. How are you filling the top of your marketing funnel to get more sales? If you need more sales, this lead generation strategy is definitely for you, and you can find that as well on my website. Thanks for hanging out with me, and please like this podcast or share it. Give me a rating or something, or a review. I really appreciate that. It would push this podcast further to more Aussies who need to hear this information, who may also find it encouraging in their day-to-day, especially if you're like me, a bit of a solopreneur, and it can be a little lonely sometimes. Hey, so having a podcast to keep you company always makes my day and helps me feel more motivated. I hope it does for you as well. I'll see you next time. As always, keep learning.